All right, let's talk now with Illinois State Rifle Association Executive Director Richard Pearson to get an overview of where the State Rifle Association's lawsuit is and maybe an overview of some of the other lawsuits there are against the state's gun and magazine ban. That's in effect now, but we are seeing some temporary restraining orders being issued in state-level court. We reviewed a bit of that with the Macon County decision earlier this hour and hearing from State Representative Dan Calkins. But those are the state-level cases. 3 temporary restraining orders, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Illinois upholding a temporary restraining order over the issue of separation, not separation of powers, over the issue of equal protections, which ultimately is because the law carves out law enforcement from being required to register their guns and also still allowed to go out there and purchase guns and magazines. But the federal level cases, we'll see where those are going. But there's a clear difference. State level cases that are being decided, at least on a temporary basis at this point, only for those directly suing that are named plaintiffs. The federal cases, they're looking to have this blocked statewide. Richard Pearson, Illinois State Rifle Association, thanks for taking time with us. You just got done, with a meeting across the state? Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I just got back from Mount Vernon. I had a meeting down there. I'd say we had 350 very unhappy gun owners at that meeting.
So what are you hearing from them? I mean, are they suing? Are they waiting for more to come out of the State Rifle Association's lawsuit? What are you hearing from them?
Well, they're very nervous. They don't understand. They've done nothing wrong, yet they're the point of this law. And they're pretty upset about that. I think somebody's going to pay later for this one. But so the sheriff down there hosted a meeting, Sheriff Bowler, and so I was surprised. They had 250 chairs set up, and the room had at least 100 or more people standing up because there weren't enough chairs. So it was really crowded. It shows the anger of across the state about this law. Well,
and I got to tell you, just in the response I get from the articles I write, from my reporting, even from just the YouTube videos, for instance, it's incredible to see the spike in interest in the Second Amendment issues that are raised by this law. So let's kind of overview what is the latest with the State Rifle Association's lawsuit in federal court in the Southern District.
Well, a quick overview. All the federal suits have been put together in Benton, Illinois. So the Illinois State Rifle Association, Second Amendment Foundation, Firearm Policy Conference is one suit called Harold versus Raoul. And the NRA suit, the NSS suit, and the dealer suit have been rolled into that one. And also the suit out of Crawford County, where Attorney Thomas Magg has sued the county, was moved to the district court also. So right now we have 4 suits rolled into one. And so for us, I think that's good. We have the Second Amendment attorneys in the country all brought together working on one suit. So that when the governor said, bring it on, we are.
We're talking with Richard Pearson. He is the executive director of the Illinois State Rifle Association here on WMAY, now 644. And Richard, you've got the state level cases. A lot of the talk has been about the issue of equal protections. At least that's what the appellate court has upheld. The other arguments about the procedure and how this bill was passed, violating the 3 readings rule, allegedly violating the due process and single subject rule. Again, the court's not necessarily taken up on that, but the equal protections issue very much is what they're focusing on the state level cases, saying, essentially a Second Amendment right is being unevenly delivered under this state law. Talk about the ISRA and the federal level lawsuits. What are the major issues that you guys are focusing on there?
Well, we're primarily focused on the Second Amendment issues. In the light of New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, that is what we're concentrating on. Of course, the other side says, well, there's been other such laws upheld by the courts, but the fact is, this is the first suit after New York State versus Bruin. So we're cutting new ground here, and I think it's going to have a good outcome for firearm owners.
Well, we've seen some of that on the state level cases where, of course, they're going to go back to those lower districts and actually have trials about all of this. But a permanent injunction, you guys did request this, but the state was granted a delay in being able to respond to this. So I think the deadline's now March 1st for state police and the state defendants to answer to these charges. What does that say for getting to, we've got, of course, less than a month this has been enacted. October 1st is when the window opens for registration. Do we have time before October 1st to have the hearings and to have this go through the process before there's either a permanent injunction or some kind of decision that affects the entire state?
The answer is I think so. The state is very good at delaying. We've been to the courts. This is our 26th or 27th suit against governments, of which we won 25, by the way. But they practice delay. It's aggravating. It also eats, of course, our money. They're defending the suit with our money, and we're suing them with our money. So they don't have anything to lose, but of course we do. So we have to keep pressing forward just on the financial end of it, because time is money in courts, and so we keep pushing on that. But I think the courts are ready for this, and I think they're pretty unhappy about what's going on here. We think that there's going to be another lost federal suit up in McHenry County, for example, by the sheriff of McHenry County. He's going to sue under the similar action that we're suing under. So I think the courts are being pushed. The courts are not used to this kind of uproar. Of course, the abortion cases were like this, but there's nothing like this in anyone's memory. The anger of the people is beyond belief. I think they are put upon, they are diminished. They feel that their rights have been taken away. They feel like the government has stomped on them, and they're not happy.
Richard Pearson, Illinois State Rifle Association. Finally here, we've got the idea that you elaborated a bit on of how this is being funded, right? I mean, you've got the state using tax dollars to defend the lawsuits, and you've got taxpayers and citizens in Illinois funding litigation to challenge this. How are fundraising efforts going? How much is this going to cost? And not just on the lawsuit side, but on the other side where the state's using those tax dollars. Do you guys have any indication of that? And can you get some of that money back? Who's impacted by that?
Well, for one thing, if we win, this is a 1983 case, which means the state has violated our civil rights. If we win, we get some of our money back. Of course, they never pay you the whole amount. They said, we'll make a deal with you. We'll pay you 60%, 70%. And if you want the rest of it, you'll have to sue. Well, if you don't take that, you have to sue. You wind up eating up all your money again, and they can just keep doing that because they have unlimited funds. It's really an unfair system as far as I'm concerned. I think it should be taken out of the people's pocket who voted for it.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that legislation ever advances.
That won't fly very well. I know that, but anyway, that's what.
Yeah, we'll see ultimately what happens with all of that. Again, Illinois State Rifle Association Executive Director Richard Pearson, thank you so much for taking time with us. We'll definitely connect again in the near future to get an update on what's going on with those cases. All right.
But just to know, so donations fund our lawsuit so we're taking donations, and we're glad if anybody wants to donate. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks again for connecting. We'll talk again in the near future, all right?
All right. Thank you.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News.